Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. This is going to be a 100% walkthrough where I take the time to discuss the story and lore and show how to get all the trophies. I will timestamp the trophies as they are earned and timestamp walkthrough discussions for their relation to storyline or trophies. That way you can kind of skip to or skip whatever you may want or not want to see. And with that being said, let's jump right in.
時は戦国末期、日の本すべてを焼いた戦火は未だに勢い衰えず、山深いアシナの国にも燃え広がっていた。
野良犬が心すらなくしたか。ああ、共に来るか、飢えた狼。
そして戦場で拾われた狼は修行の末熟達の忍びとなった。
忍びの掟は忘れまいな。親の次に大事なもの、お前の心に刻むがよい。あれが今日からお前の主だ。命を賭して守る。たとえ奪われるとも必ず取り戻すのだ。よいな、狼よ。
一心の国取りから24年、アシナの国は斜陽にあり、狼の忍びはすべてを失っていた。育ての義父も守るべき主も。
忍びよ、目覚めてください。あなたの主のために。
So before we pick that up, I just wanted to note that there was a Sakura petal that fell from him, and I have heard that the Sakura petal was supposed to represent his resurrection, which I thought was kind of cool. And I'll talk more about that later. Ornamental letter. A letter thrown into a well. Kuro's wolf. Your destiny awaits you at the Moonview Tower. Escape from the well and find the tower bathed in moonlight. Even without a blade, you can reach it. Stay silent. Stay vigilant. Okay, so we are going to talk over something really quick here. So I made a subtle change in my game, and I wanted to talk about it before we get started. If you go to controller configuration, I have swapped a couple of them, or yeah, I guess technically a couple. So I changed the triangle with the up on the D-pad so that the triangle is used for item use, and that the D-pad is used for cycling, or up on the D-pad is used for cycling prosthetic tools, which we'll get to later. And that would be right here for item use, because it's a little bit more similar to Bloodborne. And I don't remember if Dark Souls did the same thing, but Bloodborne's healing button was the triangle, so I went with that. And I got that recommendation from a Vati video, and which means that the up here now is to cycle prosthetics. So the problem with having the heal button or the item use button here with the prosthetic, where the prosthetic is now, is that you actually have to take your hand off the controller so that you can heal, which means you can't heal while you're walking. So that's why I made that change. And let's get right to it then. So we got a couple guys here, so we're going to want to go to stealth right away. Stealth. Advance without being seen by crouching in bushes or moving under floors. You do not have a sword at the moment. Use stealth to avoid enemies and head to the Moonview Tower. If you're about to be seen, warning markers appear above enemies' heads.
井戸底におるあの忍び、特に枷などしておりませんが、構わぬのでしょうか。
大事ない。刀もなく、気力すらない。奴はもうただのふぬけよ。
I want to make you eat those words, buddy. Underfloor movement, yeah. So we're going under here. Very important mechanic, and I will talk about this a little bit later as well, but whenever you get the option to eavesdrop, of course take it.
月見櫓が今宵も月に照らされておる。巫女様はまた月明かりで書をお読みかの。
そうじゃな。まだほんの子供というに、囚われとは気の毒なことじゃ。
ああ、源一郎様も何かお考えがあるのだろうが。
Okay, there's the tower that we're trying to get to. We are a shinobi, so I do plan on relying on stealth a lot. You don't really need to play that way, though. Does make some things a whole lot easier, though.
よく来てくれた。久しいな、狼よ。
お迎えに参上いたしました。我が主。
表を上げよ。くさび丸、そなたの刀だ。我が忍びよ。主従の約定に従い、命を賭し、我に仕えよ。
御意。
Kusabimaru, a katana given by Kuro to the divine heir, an heirloom of the Hirata family, a cadet branch descended from Ashina. Once thought lost, it has found its way back to the hands of the wolf. The name Kusabimaru beseeches a shinobi's role to kill, but even a shinobi must not forget mercy, a mantra the blade itself may manifest. And that is actually the first trophy in the game, so it's called Revered Blade, and the requirement is received to the Kusabimaru from Kuro. So kind of a note here before we talk to him. So as it said, it's an heirloom of the Hirata family, and I believe the way the story goes on that is that Kuro was adopted by the Hirata, and they are, as it said, a cadet branch of the Ashina. So they do have blood. He does have some sort of blood tie to them, though some of it's not entirely clear.
狼よ、傷を負っておるようだな。そうだ、そなたにこれを託そう。薬水のひょうたんだ。これで傷を癒してくれ。
Healing gourd, a gourd filled with vitality restoring medicine. Resting refills the gourd, made by an apprentice of the extraordinary Dr. Dogen. Though it is strange that the gourd's medicinal waters refill automatically, the seed within may hold the secret to how it works.
さて、そなたの体、その後大事はないか。
その後とは。
あの世のこと、覚えておらぬのか。
はい。
いや、司祭は後にしよう。今はこのアシナの城を脱さねばならぬ。
御意。
堀沿いに進んだ橋の下に場外への抜け穴がある。一心様よりそう聞いたことがある。まずはその橋下の抜け穴を見つけてきてほしい。見つけたらそうだな、足の歯笛で合図をくれるか。ほら昔聞かせてくれたであろう。こうピーッとな。その音を頼りにそなたのもとへ行こう。
Okay, quick use items. Yeah, we'll go over that. I don't need to read that. We'll cover that. In fact, let's do it right away. So some of this stuff is locked. We'll get into it as it makes its way to us. This is basically our equipment that we would use and some of our abilities as well as we unlock them. And if you go to quick items, these are the two items we have right now. I pretty much just use healing gourd and pellets here, and then just switch out whatever I need because you can just pause this game, unlike other FromSoft games. Inventory right now is split up into quick items, key items, and upgrades, which we'll kind of pick up along the way. And of course, key items are the ones that we will hold on to throughout the story. The others will be more consumables. So before we head out, there's an item I believe we can get in here. I think there's a pellet. Okay. Pellet. Medicinal pellets that slowly restore vitality. A secret treatment passed down for generations in these lands. Records say it has been used in battles since times long gone and lent to the famed resilience of Ashina warriors. A pill case full of these pellets would also serve as a battle charm. And so I usually will equip the pellets as a secondary to this. then we can just kind of switch between them. So because I just remapped my controls, I may end up accidentally like not using the right buttons. So we'll see how this goes. But this is new to me. I've only used it a little bit so far. Posture and death blows. And I will discuss this more in depth later, but I'll read this for now. A shinobi aims to break an opponent's posture. Attacking the enemy is one way to achieve this. When an enemy's posture breaks, he is vulnerable to a shinobi death blow. And it's basically telling you to attack. Some enemies you can just kind of spam attack. Some you will need to block from, and if you block properly, you can deflect them. And like I said, I will show more about this later, but this is a prologue area, so if you die, it has no impact on you really other than just restarting the area. And honestly, I'm probably going to die, so we will dig into this a little further as we go. I'm already off my game. I can feel the rust. Let's clean some of that off. Definitely feeling a bit rusty already. It's been a while, though. Alright, deflection, there we go. Sometimes relentless attack is not enough to break an enemy's posture. Deflecting enemy attacks is another way to damage their posture. So deflect is basically just kind of tapping the block at the right moment. A master shinobi uses a combination of deflect and attack to achieve swift victory. And so hit L1 the moment an attack lands. Okay, and honestly, I should probably heal. Now, because this area just kind of auto resets for you if you die, I would say hold on to the pellet, but I'm going to use it because I'm probably going to die otherwise. But I'd say just hold on to it. Get some practice in. Okay, by locking onto your target and keeping your enemy in front of you, you'll find it much easier to attack, deflect, and perform other combat actions. So we got two guys here to deal with. If you want to kind of work on your deflects, go for it. But these guys are kind of... they're not even putting up a fight. Yeah, they're some of them don't even try, and some of them will try to spam you, so be aware it's easy to get knocked off your feet if you're not expecting it. Okay, I think there he is. Big boss is gone. Okay, I think he's the last of them in this area. And there should be one guy here, the big boy. Okay, counter slash. A counter slash can be performed immediately after deflecting an attack. This allows you to deal posture damage without giving the enemy time to recover. And you'll notice he's got two little dots up above his head. So he requires 2 death blows, basically. So if there's one... Oh, sorry, I should have read that. Oh. Pellet, okay. I don't really need it, because he's pretty much the last thing we gotta deal with, but... Or not the last, actually. There are a couple enemies, but... Does not open from this side. So yeah, basically, if they have the little death blow marker, sometimes they might have one and you just have to get a death blow the one time, which requires you to either take down their vitality or posture break them, which, like I said, I'll discuss that more later. But if there's 2 or more, you have to do it, more than once, essentially. Fistful of Ash. Ash gripped into hardened clumps. Throw it at an enemy to temporarily distract them. In Ashina, the snow falls thick, and thus the hearth runs thick with ash. And I'm going to say, a lot of items in this game, I don't necessarily use them all the time, and sometimes I'll even sell them, and I'm going to try to avoid doing that anymore, because there are some that are actually pretty good, and I just don't give them a chance. And this one is honestly one that you can overlook a lot that has some use. So, play with them, see what you like. You don't have to do anything in a particular order. Or a particular way, I should say. Okay, we got an eavesdrop here.
この橋の下、堀のどん詰まりに抜け穴があるじゃろ。あそこも見張りせよとの仰せじゃと。
なんとも限界なことじゃ。戦が近いのかもしれんの。
And there's a little guy off to the right there you can see under the bridge. He may not look like much, but they are assassins. And he shouldn't be too hard to deal with, but... They're rather bizarre looking, and I'm not sure where that design came from. But, let's not body shame. Okay, so pellets, we just got the one. Like I said, this area is repeatable with no penalty because it's prologue, so feel free to save those for later if you want. I think we hold on to them. I don't think we can go up here quite yet. No. This appears to be the escape route. Call the divine air with the reed whistle.
Okami をよく見つけてくれた。さあ、参ろう。
御意。
血の定めから逃れることしかできぬとはな。
We gotta talk to him.
この城を出ていずこへ参ろうか。まずはアシナの国を離れるか、あるいはどこかに身を隠すか。そなたはどう思う？
御意のままに。
御意か。そなたは変わらぬな。いや、懐かしいと思うてな。さあ、参ろう。
Wolf is pretty carefree, so he just wants to do right by his lord. So we are his retainer. So I want to point out here before we get into a cutscene up here that that Wolf is rather beaten and rusty, just like me right now. Not the beaten part, but the rusty part. In that in this cutscene here, I think it's really interesting that when he goes to grab his sword, he slightly fumbles for it. It's really subtle, but when you watch his hand go over his right hand, watch how he reaches for it and kind of fumbles over the sword. He has to readjust his hand. It's kind of a really cool detail.
Hisashii na, Miko yo. 叔父上の墓前以来か。
源一郎殿。私は。
Okay, watch the right hand.
すまぬ。
お任せを。
Here he goes. And there's the fumble.
Jamadate suru ka, Miko no shinobi o.
this isn't going to end well.
Ashina Genichiro. Why?
Oh, okay. Oh, got me.
Shinobi とてこの程度か。ミコはもらっていくぞ。
You can win that fight, but it ends the same with you losing your arm. That is so cool. Could you imagine?
目覚めたようじゃな。どうやらまだ死の定めではないと見える。
Shinobi Prosthetic. The artificial arm of a shinobi passed down by the sculptor, who's the one that was just talking to us. A replica of a human arm fitted with a variety of mechanisms apparently designed with modification in mind. While it bears a number of cuts and is stained thick with blood and oil, it has been impeccably maintained.
お前さん、名は何という？その目、さしずめ、任に敗れた狼といったところか。言えぬ。それが忍びじゃな。わしは仏を掘らなきゃならん。お前さんはお前さんで好きにしな。
何故俺はここにいる？
ただ拾ったのよ。屍かどうかもわからぬものを野良犬に食わせてやることもあるまい。
どれほど俺は眠っていた？
お前さんを拾ってからずいぶん経つぞ。
そうか。
じゃが主の主はまだ生きておるぞ。アシナの城で囚われとなっている。だがすぐにもその血を利用されちまうだろう。お前さんを見ればその価値は十分にあろうというものじゃ。
Yes, they call him the divine heir, and the full title is talking about Kuro, our lord, is the divine heir of the dragon's heritage. And the reason we're still alive is because of him. Okay, ask how you got here. Did I ask him how I got here? I think that's what I asked him, right?
巫女様の血が利用されるとはどういうことだ。
わしも詳しいことなど知らん。ただ流院、そう呼ばれる特別な血があるという。主の主はそれを持っておる。
それゆえ巫女様は
付け狙われる。お前さんの体が妙なことになっておるのもそのせいかもしれぬな。
Okay. And we should ask him about our arm.
この左腕、俺に何をした。
そいつは忍び義手。石腕の狼にはおあつらえ向きの牙じゃろうて。仏を掘るには無用でな。お前さんにくれてやる。
忍び義手。
そいつはただ失った腕を補うもんじゃない。任具を見つけたらわしのところに持ってくるがいい。
任具だと。そうか、このからくり。
察しがいいな。任具を持ってきたら忍び義手に仕込んでやる。そうすりゃその義手のありがたみがわかるじゃろうさ。喋りすぎたな。いい気な。
Yeah, Wolf's not exactly a, a chatty person, if you haven't noticed. So, he's a sculptor. That's what we call him. But you can clearly see we're wearing similar garb, and he gave us the prosthetic. So he is a former shinobi.
お前さんもそうじゃが、この荒れ寺にはおかしな客がまあまあ訪れる。寺を出て右手の広場にもそうした者が一人おる。妙なことになっておる者同士、気が合うかもしれんな。その優しい顔の仏様はわしの彫ったもんじゃねえ。まことの仏師が彫られたものだ。人が己の内にあるものと向き合う、そういった時に助けとなるだろう。
己の内にあるものとは。
怒り、悲しみ、あるいは古い過去の記憶、そういった類のものじゃ。
Yeah, this is for online stuff, so I'm going to ignore that. So this is the Dilapidated Temple. We are going to pick up a couple items here quick, and then we'll go talk about the strange person he was talking about in there. Light coin purse, and I will explain these at some point in the near future. A purse filled with a small amount of sen, it can be used to acquire the sen inside. Has a somewhat satisfying weight to it. The sen in this purse is not lost upon death. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Again, we'll talk about that later, though. And the other one, of course, is this. Pellet. Medicinal pellets that slowly restore vitality. A secret treatment passed down for generations in these lands. Records say it has been used in battles since times long gone and lent to the famed resilience of Ashina warriors. Okay, actually we already read that, so I don't know why I'm reading that. If I forget, I probably will just reread things. So let's go talk to our buddy over here.
見ぬ顔だな。そこもと、名は。名乗られぬか。だが、 腕ある忍びとお見受けした。忍びの技ならば、あるいは、そこもとよ。ぜひそれがしと立ち会ってもらおう。やはり死なぬわな。
Probably not what you would expect, right?
そこもとの立ち筋、見事なものであった。それがしをかように従前に殺した者、そうはおらぬ。
お主は何だ？
死なず、あるいは虫つきと呼ぶ者もおるな。死ねぬので、ただここにおるのだ。そこもとはこのような荒れ寺で何よ。随分と眉間にシワが寄っておる。そこもとよ。それがしを使い、刀の修練をせぬか。お主の使命を果たすために。死ねぬ体ゆえ、幾度でも切られてやれるぞ。どうじゃ。
His armor looks like that of some of the samurai around this area. Samurai.
承知した。
よし。ではやろう。刀を振らば気も紛れるというもの。
Okay, so as the name says, Hanbei, the Undying. So Undying, of course, it's just a form of immortality, so it means we have some form of immortality, kind of like we do. But he also used the word infested, which is a particular type of immortality that we will discuss much more later on in the story. Might raise some interesting questions, right? Infested. So, Hanbei here, as he said, is kind of, meant for training. He's the one who will let you kind of try out new stuff on him. And so we're actually going to take advantage of this for a moment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about game mechanics, and some of that's been brought up, and I've already read about some of it. But first of all, vitality and posture. You've probably seen those bars already. My vitality bar, there's our vitality bar, and then there's a posture bar that you'll notice that pops up on the screen for us and our opponent. And so it's really important to note that posture and vitality are linked to each other. So if you drain somebody's HP, their vitality, they will die. But if you break their posture, you can get a death blow on them. And so they kind of go hand in hand. So if you have somebody who regains posture quickly, you can deplete that vitality a little bit, which will increase the posture damage and how much they can bounce back from that. And so posture breaking, like I said, if you break the posture, you can do a death blow. Doesn't matter what their vitality is. You will kill the person in that moment, unless they have more than one posture bar, essentially, or more than one vitality bar. And so depletion of the posture, just of our posture in opposition, isn't quite the same, but it will cause us to stumble and leaves us open to attack. And so I'm going to back up from him.
そこもとの技の試し、いくらでも受けようぞ。
So before we get into this with him, he's not really that hard. So he's honestly not too useful beyond a certain point. I do like him as a character though. So if you block, I've been told that that's a really good stance to just take on in general, because it can negate any damage you might take. But also remember that the tapping it is your deflection. And one thing to do is that some people tend to do this a lot, and you'll notice me doing it at times, where you kind of just tap. You're just kind of tapping the block button over and over again. And the idea, if you're doing that, is that it can actually help you learn deflection times, or if you are really unsure of yourself with something, it's a good way to catch your enemy's timing. So I don't recommend relying on that. Once you kind of figure out your enemy, don't do that too much, because this is leaving me open to attack by doing that. Every time I drop the blade, it leaves you open to taking damage. So it's not a bad way, though, to kind of learn someone's moves, or if you're unsure of what they're going to do, to kind of brace for that. So just be careful on how you use it. And so let's see what he's got for us to get started.
そこもとか。それがしを使い、刀の修練を積むがいい。
So right now we have attacks, deflect, and step dodge. These are all pretty basic.
力ば参る。
Why not learn them? Sword attacks. A shinobi aims to break an opponent's posture. Attacking an enemy is one way to achieve this. An enemy with broken posture is vulnerable to a shinobi death blow. Perform 3 death blows after breaking enemy's posture. And so we're just going straight out for attacks this time.
Mada mada. さらに参るぞ。お見事。
So there are several points throughout the game where you're going to run across enemies that your attack damage is way too much for them, and you can just spam them into death, basically. Deflection, though, is where they're not going to go down that easy. You might need to trade some back and forth with them, and you really want to get good at this because there are some fights in the game that we're going to get to eventually that you will not get past if you cannot deflect properly. So it's something to work on, and every enemy is a little bit different, which makes it really challenging to get that down sometimes.
力ば参る。
So we want to let him attack us this time and deflect. Sometimes relentless attack is not enough to break an enemy's posture. Deflecting an enemy's attack also damages their posture, and a master shinobi will both deflect and attack. Deflect enemies' attacks to perform 3 death blows. So, oh, he's saying. See, even Hanbei can catch me off guard. That's not a bad way to practice. Just to get started, at least. Okay, then we have step dodge. Okay, step dodge allows one to avoid attacks. Dodging won't compromise enemy posture, but may help one avoid damage. Evade enemy attacks, then attack, and perform 3 death blows. Okay. This can be a little tricky, but... depending on how far away you dodge, that can be... yeah, a little too far away there. Oh, come on, dude. Yes, too far away. Oh, no, he got me there. Should work, I think. Yeah, okay.
そこもととの修練だが、そろそろより誠の戦いに即したものも試してはどうか。それがしも殺す気でかかろう。そこもとの修練としても、その方が好ましかろう。どうした？
なぜそこまで？
半分は退屈しのぎ、もう半分はそうじゃな。そこもとの眉間のシワを取ってやりたいのよ。さあ、良いからやるぞ。
Okay, free combat. And as we kind of unlock abilities and progress the game a little bit, he'll add some stuff to the list. And honestly, you can probably just experiment with just about anything. I usually only do the first few rounds with him, but... So, this is fundamentals.
では、行くぞ。
承知。
に参るぞ。さすがだな、そこもと。
Okay, that's pretty much it. I don't know if he has any other dialogue. We can check that.
そこもとよ。この社には行き場を失った者が集うようだ。俺、現にそれがしもここにおる。だからかの。そこの賽銭箱にも時折何やら流れ着くのよ。また来るがいい。そこもとの技の試し、いくらでも請け負うぞ。
Get the offering box over here. Items that become unavailable elsewhere end up in the offering box. When the box is illuminated, it means that an item has found its way inside. Items can be obtained by inspecting the box and offering money. And so that's basically if you find like a key item that you didn't pick up because you went too far beyond an area and it's one that, you know, would still be accessible to you. All right, so one more thing that we're going to do before we close this one out is visit this little guy over here. Sculptor's Idol menu. Sculptor's idols serve as a checkpoint and can be found throughout Ashina. Resting at a sculptor's idol will completely replenish vitality and restore one use of resurrection, which we have not experienced yet. Additionally, quick items and spirit emblems and storage will be added to your current inventory. So basically it refills everything that you have, if you have enough to refill it. With some exceptions, resting will also revive defeated enemies, which essentially is going to mean any generic enemies, so mini bosses and true bosses and all that stuff, those will not respawn. And so right now, there's not much to the menu, and this will kind of grow as we progress. We only have one idol, but once you get them, this will serve as a travel screen, and there's a bunch of other things on here that we'll kind of talk about as we progress. But all right, that was the prologue and the start to our journey. Let's review what we know about the story at this point. The setting is in feudal Japan during the Sengoku era, which was plagued by frequent civil war and social upheaval. Isshin Ashina defeated General Tamura, as we saw in the beginning, in a rebellion following years of oppression. Our player character, Wolf, was found on that battlefield by our foster father and master shinobi, Owl, who went on to raise and train him in the ways of the shinobi. Wolf was later assigned as the retainer to Lord Kuro, adoptive son of the Hirata family, which is a branch of the Ashina clan. After an indeterminable amount of time, Wolf awakens wounded at the bottom of a well, seemingly with little memory of what's happened. He discovers that Lord Kuro was imprisoned by Lord Genichiro, who currently leads the Ashina clan as Isshin has gotten old and ill. Wolf and Kuro attempt to escape from Ashina, where they are stopped by Genichiro, who severs Wolf's arm and leaves with Kuro. Wolf is found by a mysterious sculptor who seems to be a former shinobi that brings him to the Dilapidated Temple, where we are now, and cares for him until he comes around at a later time. We don't really know how much time has passed, so the sculptor presents Wolf with the shinobi prosthetic as a replacement for his missing arm and informs him that Kuro is being held at Ashina Castle, where they plan to make use of his blood. Of course, as the loyal retainer that we are, Wolf is essentially prepared to set out right away. Anyway, if you are following along for the trophy completion, we have the Revered Blade trophy for receiving Kusabimaru from Kuro. Additionally, we have the Shinobi Prosthetic trophy that I forgot to mention for acquiring the Shinobi Prosthetic from the sculptor. For newcomers to FromSoft games like Sekiro, if you're not enjoying these games because they are too hard or discouraging, or because people are just telling you that you can't do it, then hear me out. I had a difficult time getting into these games at first, but over time they have grown on me so much that Bloodborne and Sekiro have easily become two of my absolute favorite games. If you were to tell me I had to play one game for the rest of my life, it would probably be this or Bloodborne, and never play another game again. Saying that FromSoft games can be challenging is an understatement, but they also have excellent gameplay, storyline and lore, music, and so much more. So give the game a chance, but more importantly, give yourself a chance to experience the story and gameplay and work on your skills, because you can do it. I watch a lot of YouTubers, and many of them have talked about people leaving comments that they won't make it through the game, but they always, from my perspective, they've always come through and proved them wrong in the end. Now, Sekiro was my first FromSoft game, and stands as one of the greatest gaming challenges that I've ever faced, maybe next to Akuma mode on The Evil Within. And so when I first started, it got to the point where I actually followed a video walkthrough the entire way through the first playthrough. Since then, I have discovered that the biggest challenge with FromSoft games, for me at least, wasn't necessarily the difficulty of the game, it was the lack of obvious direction, because the game does tell you kind of what to do, but it's not always really obvious, or having kind of a lack of objective in some cases, along with just the lack of progress that would push on me. And that's usually what got me to want to stop playing. One thing that really helped me get through future games, which would be like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and so on, were checklist guides. So the checklist guides, preferably the ones without spoilers, but essentially the checklist gives you kind of gave me what I needed, which was an objective, somewhere to go, something to look for, and basically just directionality, which really helped. I had an idea of where to go and what I needed to be on the lookout for, and of course there's always the option of more comprehensive video guides, which may be the reason you're here to begin with. So stick with these games because they are most certainly worthwhile. And that is a good place to end this episode. So to recap, we completed the prologue where we learned the setting of the story, that we are playing as Wolf, a shinobi and retainer to Lord Kuro, who was taken captive by Lord Genichiro Ashina after he took our left arm. A mysterious sculptor nursed us back to health and provided us with a prosthetic arm designed for Shinobi. He then informed us that Kuro is being held at Ashina Castle, giving us our first destination. Next time, we are going to get started on the Ashina outskirts, because that is really the only place available to us right now, and start making our way towards Ashina Castle. With that being said, let us close things out for this one. I will be continuing tonight, so if you're here live, stick around. Otherwise, thank you all for joining, and I will see you all later.